Okay, so this is finally the actual starting process. So we've got a nice Arabian mare that we've just received. She arrived yesterday in the morning. Gave her a day or so just to relax and get comfortable, settle a little bit. And as you can see, she is quite settled, but I did cheat. I did one session with her this morning. That session had nothing to do with all of the stuff that we're going to do. In a way, it was a little bit more of an intuitive session where I just wanted to let her know that, I'm here. You don't need to be worried. So I went in, I started just imagine like an old man going around his garden, taking out the weeds. I was just walking around as if I'd had a garden taken out. I'm looking for all the weeds, and she's trotting around all over the place. I've got a rope, I throw it, without even looking at her, make sure that I'm calm and relaxed. And then whenever she gives me those two eyes, or she gives me some kind of attention with her head and nose and maybe her feet, I take all the pressure away and I just breathe out and I wait. And it didn't take very long, but she hooked on. She started to follow me a little bit. We did same thing, not with the purpose of desensitizing, but with the purpose of showing her that I'm doing my work as an old man and you're a young lady, a young girl, that I'm looking after you. You're my responsibility, and just chill with me. So we did get to touch her with a rope and a flag. But none of that was done intentionally in her mind, right? So it was all something that I was just going about doing my job, and she was there supporting me. So she's 5 years old. Like I said, she's an Arabian mare, probably an endurance bloodline, but to me she kind of looks like a flat racer with those big, massive shoulders and then slim body with a small butt. Kind of looks like a thoroughbred almost, and she is quite tall. So but I've been told that she's pure Arabian with great bloodlines. So let's see how this goes. Today I do have a saddle. I've got a saddle pad, I've got a stick and string, I've got a flag, and I've got a tarp. All of those are absolutely required for me to do the actual first session with her properly. So the idea is to get her to a level where, okay, we've established a bit of respect. I can move her forwards, backwards, left and right. I can get her to turn into me, give me her eyes instead of giving me her butt. And potentially at the end, when I stop her, she'll follow me around with her head and neck or her nose. She'll keep her attention on me. If she decides that she wants to follow as well and move her feet and get her feet closer to me, that would be obviously preferable. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to waste too much time getting that, because that will come just with the days that we've got. So we've got 3 weeks with her. Second thing that we're going to be doing is establishing a lot of trust. So using that tarp underneath her, on top of her, around her, using the flag, using the stick and string to put a rope around her legs, get her to feel a little bit of where the girth area would go with my lead rope. We're going to be doing everything prior to putting the saddle on. So hopefully, if she's at the level of I feel good, I feel calm, I can stand still and accept the saddle, we're going to do that and then take it from there. All right, no more wasting time talking. I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to go for it's always a choice here. Should I go stick and string or flag? I think stick and string would be fine with her. So if she wants to go left, I'm going to immediately make the decision and ask her to go right. Okay. Now all I'm looking for is that she maintains at least a trot. If she canters, that's up to her. But if she walks, I'm going to ask her to trot. And that pressure is going to be maybe raise my right hand, cluck, cluck, and then raise my stick. Sometimes you'll see that I do that all at the same time. Sometimes I do it without the cluck. But what I'm trying to get to is that when I apply pressure, it's going to be kind of gradual. I'm going to ask nicely. If you go, I'm going to let you go. If you don't respond, then I'm going to increase that pressure in one way, shape, or form. So I like that the inside ear is on me. The head is dropping. She wants to come back to a walk. This may be the effect that we had this morning of saying, look, don't worry about me. There's no need to be worried. This is kindergarten, this is fun, this is educational, both for you and for me. So let's have a good time, yeah? So her inside ear is on me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step out. She's chewing, licking, dropping her head. Good. She turns, she faces me. Switch hands, walk towards her, point, raise a stick, release. And I'm just aware of how she's moving out when I'm asking her to change directions or something. So far, it's really smooth. She's a bit cautious of the tarp over there. It's a bit windy today. This is all very nice, isn't it? Good girl. So really dropping that head and neck, doing a bit of chewing, a lot of blinking. You guys can tell, right? She's pretty relaxed. Good. So I'm going to step out, back, relax. Now, she stood still, but she did not pay any attention to me. So, now I'm going to move in front of her eye. I'm going to point to the right, and I'm going to ask her to turn and go to the right. She's got two options. She's got more, but let's assume she has two options. Option one is turn into me and go off to the right, where I'm going to be very nice. She's going to feel very good and no increase in pressure. Option number two is she's going to turn away from me into the fence and present me with her butt. Even though it's gorgeous, we want to get a little bit of control over her movement. So what will I do if she does option two and moves away with her butt towards me? Head away from me, butt towards me. I'm basically going to step out in front of her, and I'm going to get her to go back in the original direction, which is to the left. And then I'm going to ask her again and again and again, and keep repeating that process until she turns in and goes the other way. And that's where I'm going to release the pressure. That's where she's going to learn that 2 eyes is better than 2 heels. So here, I'm not going to let her. I'm going to add that pressure a little bit. And then I'm going to step out in front. Walk backwards. Here, ask her to turn. Good girl. And now she should start to register. Okay. There's a difference between me turning to the outside and me turning to the inside. Me turning to the outside, this crazy guy seemed to get some energy in his body. And when I turned to the inside, he was pretty calm. Okay, maybe I like turning to the inside. Good girl. Good girl. Now ask her very nicely. Good. So I can see her jaw muscles even, they're bouncing up and down with her trot. She's pretty chilled, but she's cautious of her surroundings. You see, notice this here, smaller circles around me. She's asking. Every time I breathe out, I'm just reminding myself to relax. Let's give her the option. She's choosing the wrong way. That's the wrong way. You need to turn in. Turn in. Like that. Good girl. Now no pressure. And from time to time, I'll keep moving my stick, desensitizing as we're going, letting her know that it's the wrong way. That's good. I need you to turn to the inside. Good girl. Now go. So general rule, pressure in front of the horse, in front of the horse's eye, gets them to stop or change directions. Good girl. Good girl. That was nice. Pressure out in front of the eye gets them to stop or change directions. Pressure behind generally gets them to move forwards or yield. So you can see that was the first time that she took a step towards me with her front left hoof. So I'm going to be very kind, very gentle, offer her that way. She says, okay, I get it. Now I'm going to ask her, do you understand what I mean if I ask you to speed up? Let's get 1 or 2 strides in that canter. And then ask you to come in. So she had to see that I can increase that pressure there. Good, but at the same time, I'm not angry with her. Now she's got a choice. She's got a choice. She's checking that tarp out behind her. Good girl. Now I'm going to be very polite, offer her the option of going that way. She decided she made the wrong decision there. Ask her again. Good girl. Ask her again. Good. Ask her again. Now we're getting to the point where we're doing that figure of 8. Wrong way, so you're going to feel the pressure. Now I'm going to ask you again. Think. Wrong way. And typically what does happen is that they start off bad, then they get good, and then they get bad before they get good again. Okay, ask her here. What's your choice? What's your choice? Adding a bit of pressure there. Now. Good, good. Now, if you're not paying attention to me, that means she knows I'm no threat, which is good. Can ask her to canter. Good girl. Yes, yes, yes. Well done. Now you don't have to canter, you don't have to trot. Feels nice when you turn in and look at me. Okay? I'm not saying it feels nice for me, it feels nice for her. Good. Can you trot? Well done. Let's get a canter on this side. And I know she's relaxing, and I know she's dropping her head, being quite submissive. I just need to get a canter on this side. She needs to understand that when I say go, and I add that pressure, I need you to respond. Good girl. Good. Good. That's all I need. I don't know if I said anything at the beginning of the video, but she hasn't been broken in. And the reason why I accepted her as sort of a project, let's say, is number one, I asked the owner, what is it that you're looking for? And he said that he really likes this mare and he wants her to have a great start. I said, okay, how long do you expect for me to work with her? Gives me an idea of what level we can get her to. And he said, you know, I don't want you to break her spirit. I want her spirit to remain intact. I want her to be confident. I want her to be a partner. I said, great. So check. You got your first tick. Second question. I could get this done in 2 hours for you. I can give you a horse that can be saddled, that can be ridden, walk, trot, canter, left, right, and stop. I could do that in 2 hours without really breaking her spirit. Or I can take a month. And he said, she's your horse. You do what you think is right. Treat her as your own. And if it takes 4 weeks, it takes 4 weeks. If it takes 6 months, it takes 6 months. Well, we didn't agree 6 months, but I did say 3 to 4 weeks would be perfect. Good girl. That's a yield with the hind quarter. And therefore, I accepted, because she's the right kind of horse that I like to work with. Hasn't been handled so much, hasn't been ridden. Even today when I showered her, she was quite unsure of water touching her feet. So I didn't even do her whole body. Good girl. Tiny changes in her, just tiny changes. I saw that front right hoof move. I'm going to reward it. I need your eyes to stay on me. That's it. Good girl. So, what that indicates is that her mind just changed on both sides. Once on this side, once on the other side. She's thinking. Her ear's on me. But she's telling me my feet are stuck. I kind of want to come, but my feet are stuck. I say, okay. I'll get to her, touch her, say, you're fine. You're fine. There you go. And I may spend just a little bit of time here, not rushing anything. I do need her to pay a little bit more attention to me. Let's see what she does here. Okay, good. She is paying attention. That's good for me. What does she do here? Now, if she goes to leave, I'm going to say, fine, I'll help you. Like right there. You want to leave? That's fine. So put a lot of pressure here. And then ask her to stop. I need you to face me on that stop now. Can't just stop straight. Gonna catch her eye and walk away. There we go. We got it, and then she's just, it's not perfect, but she's getting the idea, right? She's happy with standing to the side. Fair enough. So what I'm going to do now is just grab my halter. I'm going to walk up to her. I'm going to put a lead rope on her. So there, she thought about moving. You can tell she'd rather not. She took a step and braced a little bit. She'd rather not me be the here. She'd rather not have the halter put on. That's fine. I'll whisper in her ear and say, I'm your buddy, man. Or lady. I'm gonna look after you. Hey. In her space, in her personal space, she's not thinking of moving now. and I'm just making her feel good, rubbing her. I try not to pat on initially, you know, unless we're doing some kind of desensitizing exercise. And I did notice that she's got a bit of an issue with her face, so we worked on that a little bit today. Here we go. Okay, so the same tools that I used to make her move are going to be the same tools that I desensitize her with. So I'm going to introduce this to her, allow her. Now the whole time, as we've said before, rope is going to be loose unless she takes her head and neck away from me. She looks in the other direction. Good girl. I'm going to release it. She took some interest. Good. She's blinking. She's accepting. She's allowing me to go in there. Good. She's saying, come on. That's fine. Scratch my head. So I'll release it. Allow her to take an interest here. Good. She touched it, then I touched her. Now I'm going to gently, good, just start touching her and scratching her back all over her back. So again, loose with the reins, with the lead rope. Keep it loose. Allow her to defend herself. And that does not mean attack me, but to defend herself means, or to protect herself, let's say. Allow her to protect herself. How does she protect herself? Initially, if she's not tied up, she's going to want to leave unless she's a spoilt horse and she thinks that, hey, you know what, I can actually attack a human. And if she does think that, then there's going to be other options to deal with that. But she hasn't been worked. She hasn't had that much work done to her. So I don't think she's had the option or she hasn't figured out that she can get rid of a human being by attacking them, which is great. So it's not in her vocabulary right now. Good girl. So I'll go along the other side. Actually, I just saw her lift her head and neck up there. So I'm going to use this around her head and then touch her. Let her know that nothing in my hands, none of my tools are going to hurt you, no matter where I touch you. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm just going to drop my stick, my string that's attached to my stick like that. Okay, so she noticed that, and I'm just going to pretend as if I didn't notice it. And then I'm going to let her see the stick from the right eye. She's on the left eye right now, but I'm going to let her see the stick from the right eye. So she's already seen it. Going to touch her back leg. Excellent. Some of that work we did this morning has paid off. So she's not worried. Now I'm going to throw it over her back, which we haven't done. Good. Now she may want to move, but I'm trying to let her know. Good. She thought about it. Nothing's going to hurt you. Good girl. Now I'm going to wait. Now that we've found an area that she's not so confident with, I'm going to wait until I see a bit of a change. I'm going to keep doing the same thing, but I'm waiting for a change. What is that change? What could it be? Could be not sort of moving as soon as I raise my stick. So there's a change. I release it. Okay, now I'm going to start again. Throw it, bring it back, throw it. And because she's a little bit worried, I'm going to focus just on the withers for now before I move to other parts of her body. But she needs to be comfortable with this. Nothing goes underneath her belly. It goes over her withers, around her chest, and around her front legs. So there, she's a little bit worried still. There, she didn't move, so I release. Let her explore, that's fine. Good. That was good. So she got that one. Let's get a bit closer to the camera so you guys can see properly. And I'm noticing that I had to drag her there because she sees that stick in my hand and she doesn't really want to get so close to it. Good. So start to throw. You can see her brace. When I throw it, she's like, whoa, what the hell are you going to do to me? And over here is maybe her slightly. Good. Good. Breathe out as I'm doing this. So tip her head and neck towards me a little bit. Like that. Good. So this is a good example of typically what a horse might do. If you've introduced things as calmly as possible, really. I'm just going to keep going. There's no stress on her from my hands. And I'm trying to, with my physiology, relax as much as I possibly can. It's important that you stay at 45-degree angle to the horse's shoulder. Why? Because they could strike out in self-defense. And that's something which is to be rewarded. Not reward in the sense that I'd release when she attacks or tries to strike out. But internally, I'm quite happy that she knows how to protect herself. She's not a dumb horse. Good girl, took a step towards me. I might let this leg know that did a good job. Start again. So she's bracing. Good. Good. I see a bit of blinking, and she didn't choose this time to move, so she got it. Chewing and licking there. Good. So now that we've got it, she's understood it on both sides. Now I'm going to stay on this side so you can see the initial reaction. I'm going to start to wrap it around her butt. And you do have to have a certain amount of skill with this, so you're not whipping her. And I saw her raise her back leg there in an attempt to sort of swat a fly, so I might just go for the legs. Just check if she's actually thinking of kicking out. Yeah, she's a little bit sensitive here. So what's our job? Is to breathe. Breathe. Stay at 45 degrees. 45 degrees. 45 degrees. 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Gonna uncover those sensitive areas. We don't want things to be just all hunky-dory. Why? Because if we only work on the stuff that she's good at, that she's comfortable with, then there's no experience really that we're going through that really allows her to trust me. She needs to get scared so that she comes out the other end feeling or knowing that she didn't die and that nothing actually hurt. So I'm just going to keep going. Keep going until what? She stands still and she stops kicking. Very nice. Let her walk out. Let her know that that's not a big deal. Good girl. She just breathed out. Said, thank God for that. That's over. I'm going to say, well, it's not over because I just want to check. I need you to really understand that you don't need to worry about me. Okay. That's good. Well done. See that? Just taking mental notes of the sensitive areas where she doesn't like me approaching. Good girl. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Find a touchy area, sensitive area, where she thinks, oh, that doesn't feel too good. or I'm a bit worried. Let's try to get this area here, the flanks. Good girl. Get those legs again, but this time from this angle. The left eye of the horse. Try to get really low there. Excellent. And as I'm swinging this rope, I'm also touching the front legs. Right? So now what I might do is just throw it over the front legs as well. This is great. We're getting there, aren't we? She's understanding. She can start to actually trust. Good. So, good enough with that. Let her know she did a great job. Now we're just going to go for the flag. Final piece of desensitizing before we actually, let's say, gently turn the desensitizing into some kind of a lunging exercise. Yielding the hindquarters. You can see here she's yielding the hindquarters as she's following me. I'll start to raise my flag, whack it all over the place. And again, I'm an old man doing my stuff. Let's say I'm a lumberjack. I need to have a chainsaw with me. I'm doing my work. Doesn't mean that I've got a chainsaw. It means that doesn't mean if I have a chainsaw, it means that I'm going to come and chop you up. So you're free to go anywhere you like. Do not. I need to get to this area here. Thank you. I need to get to this area here. Don't push into this flag. I need to get to this area. She got a little bit aggressive there. Need to pay attention. She's just protecting herself. And let her out. So, she's not worried about the flag. Maybe she's a bit worried here. She touched it, so I'm allowed to touch her back. Now she's nibbling. Good. So we're not afraid, are we? Now we're going to start to lunge. So it's going to be point, then cluck cluck, then raise my stick. Release it when she goes. Good girl. And as she's going, I might start to just make sure that with zero intention, with my leading hand, my left hand that's holding the rope, with that being in a neutral position, this flag doesn't mean speed up or do anything. It's just me doing my job. And you've been nominated to come and watch me work. Isn't that right? Okay, and I'm going to yield the hindquarters. Very nice. Switch hands, point. She needs to. So again, I'm sure somebody's asking, well, didn't you just spend a bit of time desensitizing her? How on earth do they know what means go and what means stop? Or what means go and what means just stand there? Well, this is kindergarten. And there's something that she's going to learn. I don't know, let's just call it separation, right? To separate between pressure that means go and separate between pressure that means nothing. Good, chewing and licking. Gonna yield those hindquarters. I want her to back up a little bit. Good. Breathe out, let her know that I'm not really angry at all. I'm just doing my thing. You needed to understand to back up. Why? And I need to get a bit aggressive. because she did have a thought of coming after me when I was on her right side, when I was flagging her in the yield. So I need to protect myself as well, same as she has a right to protect herself. But we both do it in horsey logic. Here, she's facing up to the thing that she's afraid of. Now, bump her nose away, pressure on the inside. Bump the nose away, pressure to the inside. Bump the nose away, pressure to the inside. All you need to take a step. There. So this is the process of separation. Good girl, good thought, good. Yes, well done. Well done. That's good. Always start with the point, because pretty soon I'm not going to need this flag. She's going to have that understanding of, okay, he's just asking me to move. That's fine. He's fair. He's being nice. My job is to be nice in return. That's what makes a good partnership. Good girl. So there we go. If I do not need to bump her, I won't. Ever. Ever, ever. But as it goes with horses, you will from time to time. So here, good. Why didn't I raise my flag? I could see her think. She was thinking, so she was trying to figure it out. It would have been unfair of me to go in there and add the pressure. Good. So she still hasn't quite got it in terms of just trot when I ask you to trot. Good. Just trot when I'm asking you to trot. Okay, now I need you to yield. Pick up. Hind legs. There was no yield there. Now yield. Good. Get soft in your mind. And that means you're going to get soft. I'm getting aggressive with that flag because I do not want her to think forwards. If she thinks back, fine. And if she thinks to the side, great. But don't even think of coming forwards at me. Let her know this flag doesn't do anything again. This flag is just here. Yield. Good girl. Let's go the other side. Good girl. Yeah, you can do it. No need to protect yourself. Can you do it? Now she's blocking me. Don't block me with that shoulder. Good girl. So really not paying any attention to her yield here. Good girl. Go this way. Well done. Go quiet again. Give her a couple of seconds, yeah, before you start to desensitize while she's moving. Just to let her know that what she did there was right. Okay, a little bit sensitive on this side, so I might stop and start, stop and start. That's better. Move into her hind quarter here. Good girl. Gonna ask you to go this way now. Go. Good. I'm gonna try to remove the cluck now. I want her to move off of just simple air pressure. Good girl. Chewing and licking. Yield. Good girl. It's still a bit stiff, that yield. Okay? That's it. So when I'm desensitizing, I'm almost forgetting about the horse, looking at anything. Good. So she's not stopping so much anymore, is she? She's good. I'd love it if you just go off of a feel. Good. Now yield. Not good enough anymore. Yield. Now yield. Yield. Good. That's a bit better. Okay, you know what to do now. Good girl. Now we're going to start to be a little bit more picky. Okay, when you yield, give me a little bit more than what you're doing. All right, here we go. Yield. Good girl. Well done. Let's move. Now with this mare, we are going to have to do quite a bit of this shoulder control, pushing her shoulders around. She uses those quite a lot. I just reached out to touch her there. I didn't mean to ask her to move, and that's the kind of response that I got, so I just work with that. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to touch you when I'm riding you. I'm going to touch you when we're working together. You don't need to worry about anything. Move. Good. I was watching somebody that explained levels of relationship with when you're training horses. Really nicely said. He said, stage 1, you've got to be bigger than the horse. Stage 2, once they've understood, you need to become a partner with the horse. Stage 3, you need to be humble around the horse. I love that. I think it's a great summary of everything. Well done. I'm gonna get his name and I'm gonna mention in the next video that we do. He's not easy to follow. I think you need to have quite a bit of experience to understand and to really learn from what he's saying and doing. But he's a magician. He's an absolute magician. And he's an old man. Sorry about that. I think your name's Pat. Somebody could say Pat. So Pat's an old man. My apologies if you're not. But and he's worked with horses his entire life, like properly used horses for work. That's his livelihood. He goes out, he rides in the middle of nowhere, gathers cattle, works by himself, and he needs his horses to be absolute partners with him. Okay? He needs to be able to trust them implicitly, and they need to trust him implicitly. And he is in Southern California, where they've got a great discipline called the vaquero style of riding. Do not protect your eye. Good. And they typically take, from what I've read, about 5 to 7 years to have a finished horse. And finished horse means they call it the bridle horse. It's a horse that goes in a spade bit, which looks very mean and very complex, but if you understand the mechanics of it, it is unbelievably small, refined, intimate communication with the horse where you see nothing. The rider's not doing anything. It's just perfection. And perfection, to get that level of partnership, it does take probably 5 to 7 years with somebody with good hands and good knowledge and good skills. Anyway, I'll mention him in the next post or in the next video. And thanks, Pat, for that beautiful quote. Great summary. Okay, now we might just go to desensitizing with no movement required. Okay, so she stopped her feet. She's backing up. She's not sure at all. I'm just going to wait here a little bit. Looking for a change. She's blinking. I'm looking for another change. I need a little bit more relaxation from you. She blew out a little bit. Give me that head just a tiny bit if you want. If you want. Chewing. Okay, good enough. Okay. Now that work that we just did with the stick and string, where she was kicking out at the rope, doesn't mean that she only trusts the rope. We said that she's learning how to trust. Actually trust me. Okay. And you know what I might do? I didn't like how she tied up this morning. And I also need to check that the camera is rolling, because I don't want this to be missed. I would be very disappointed. Let's go down that leg. Does she kick? Yeah. She wanted to kick. And then she changed her mind. Good girl. Oh, she's scared of me now, because I approached her like a tiger. Sorry, girl. Good girl. Okay, so what I might do is come over here, teach her how to tie. And you can see I planned this session quite well in my mind. Hold, get release, hold, release, hold, release. And these are the types of rings that that if she pulls back, there's a lot of give. I mean, it's super easy to pull back. I'm gonna let her know, or she's gonna figure it out soon. Okay, let me just double check. Make sure that this camera is working. Yes.